So this is supposed to be essentially add-on reviews. So this one is the Insane Disaster add-on. So when you spawn into the game, you'll be given a disaster controller and Insane Disaster guidebooks. So the rest of these are essentially the different things you can get. These essentially forcefully add or sort of forcefully enable the exact disaster sort of thing. So what I have tested a little bit. That's why my word's a little bit destroyed here, as we can see there, but we'll be having a look at that in a minute. Interesting thing though, before we get too into it, is the earthquake one here. This doesn't actually work properly on flat, but we'll be having a look at that in a minute. So anyway, the book. Kind of hope we get other newer things. I will kind of say one thing that's kind of good and bad with this is obviously everyone gets these books and controls to my knowledge. So hopefully there is something that gets done with generally all add-ons where all these books and controls only get done for the host, because if you're on like a server, anyone could control stuff, so it could be kind of bad on that. But anyway, nope. So that's the disaster control thing. We better unequip that. So we've got blizzards. So as we see here, beware of blizzards in cold biomes. Equip armor to protect against the freeze, or huddle by a fire for safety. Now, something I think is actually pretty cool with that is if you've got the campfire add-on, that's also a different one altogether, but if you've got that, that actually brings a bit of immersion to be able to use that. Tornadoes, beware of fast-moving tornadoes that destroy vegetation and throw around players and mobs in their path. I've tested all these out, and these are actually pretty cool. Thunderstorms, beware of clustered lightning, and that there is something what this so this here is actually the alarm thing, but we'll have to talk about it in a minute. So yeah, trees struck by lightning leave behind burnt logs. Sandstorms, beware of sandstorms in hot sandy biomes. They stay slow movement and reduce visibility. Earthquakes, beware of earthquakes. They violently shake the earth, causing sinkholes and deep ravines. So yeah, they don't actually work on here, but I will still show it, and I do have a bit of footage of what they look like on a normal world. Meteor shower, the coolest but also the most destructive one. Beware of meteors raining from the sky, exploding on impact, and sometimes leaving behind ancient debris. Now that, actually I should test those, have a look at those craters over there. Let's set this to be do I not have the So that's what the thunderstorm does look like, as we'll be going over them all in a minute. Now for my testing so far, yeah, acid rain. That one you've got to kind of watch out for. So beware of acid rain. It hurts players and mobs, gradually killing vegetation and destroys your crops. That's why I've got the crop stuff there. Disaster alarm sounds an alarm before an disaster event. It alerts nearby players with a countdown before the disaster hits. Disaster control settings, and then you can see here all the different disaster sort of things that you can get. So spawning frequency, you can go so 1 to 5. I don't know how often that really goes. I think it might be every maybe 5 minutes possibly. So pretty cool stuff like that. So yeah, these, they don't track the lightning rod, so these aren't exactly aesthetic. or they might be sort of thing. More of the, like they can, like that slime descent, it's got hit by lightning, so it does deal damage, but you can't use lightning rods. But yeah, so obviously you can just activate everything, set your frequencies, and then submit to change. Not obviously difficult in terms of trying to set things, which is good. You don't obviously want things going to be too difficult to set. Nice and easy thing. As is just sort of annoying is that, well, at least to my knowledge, everyone's going to get these, which kind of could stuff up some single player stuff or multiplayer stuff / servers, so that's like a 50-50 on that. But as these go on for about a minute, that's another thing I'd like to see changed, is something to allow the essentially different different settings for time. Now, as well, I believe... actually, what if we... Actually, no, that won't matter. Because as we can see here, just going out far, it is still above us. Now, I don't know if that actually follows us exactly, or if that's more of a... It's just really, really big sort of thing. And boom, gone. So anyway, let's test these out. So, acid rain. Pretty cool effect. Now, I have noticed these seem to spawn slimes. Now, I don't know exactly if this is single player stuff. I mean, not single player, flat world stuff specifically, because obviously it could be killing off more mobs. But that would be my guess, is the acid rain is essentially turning into like slime, which I think is a pretty cool thing. Now, we can see here with the crops, they're essentially decaying, or they're being destroyed. Now, great thing I think with this is it essentially adds in that sort of survival-ish essence of you've got to try and protect your crops. As we can see here, they're actually burning. Now, obviously, if you don't want that, like the control thing, you can turn off whatever you don't want. If you kind of don't want, like, in generally blocks destroyed, I'd say turn off meteor shower. Then everything else doesn't seem to actually destroy anything. I'm kind of surprised actually tornadoes don't. But as is, this will go on, I think, for about a minute and a half. I think I've tested it. And yeah, so for what I'm understanding, as is slime spawn with this, I might just put a probably in a comment on this, if I'll probably test out later on actually in a normal world and see if slimes do spawn, but that'd be my guess because it only seems to be with the acid rain. Now, I won't be able to test, like, I will be obviously testing all these out, but one after another, and we're slowly clearing up, which has this really cool effect, that whole thing. So, blizzard. So, similar thing with this, obviously you can see, but you can't. So now, you can see just out there, and see everything's shaken. And we also do have, if I can find the effects menu. I don't remember where we go for the thing. Oh, look at that. We're getting acid rain again. Actually, I might just turn these off while we're doing this. Just so that stuff doesn't keep coming. I hope it doesn't start again. But yeah, as is about a minute and a half, I think it is roughly. Okay, so that acid rain is gonna just continue. I won't actually, I was gonna say, I won't show off the lightning because we've already seen that before. And as well, I believe the ones that you might trigger yourself, I think lasts a bit longer for what I've sort of seen. And as well, for what I've seen, you can't get two at once, which is a shame. So there we go. We'll just wait around here. Well, actually, I'll skip ahead probably. But as is, I kind of hope we can get more. I actually wouldn't mind a tsunami type thing. Water rises up. Okay, I might have been wrong. That apparently was a thunderstorm strike. Possibly. Although it just generally got water. Actually, so yeah, as we can see there, that's damaging these mobs. So that's why I'm thinking that the acid rain spawns slimes. That's a lot of slimes. Well, actually, I should be able to show it off. So earthquake. So it rumbles the ground. Now as this, we won't really be able to see it properly on here just because I don't think the ground's low enough, I think is the actual problem. But I'll chuck in a clip of what the earthquake looks like. So essentially how that does work, as it will be shown in the video, we'll chuck a video up on the screen of it. But yeah, essentially rumbles and then the ground actually essentially explodes and then opens up. Like that it would be, but then obviously again it would obviously explode. I'll leave the meteor shower for last. That is the coolest. Sandstorm. Similar effects in some ways to the acid rain in the clouds. Interestingly enough, oh my god, that looks like a really, really big skeleton then. So yeah, similar thing to the snowstorm essentially. Well, almost identical. Obviously a sand, which I do like still, because you're not going to be able to see very far. Yeah, so like that that little hut thing of mine, there it is. I could barely even see that, which is I like it. Hopefully there are more things added. I don't know what. Probably only thing really is actually, did we go? So there's an interesting thing. If you're under shelter, you're not really, oh no you are, kind of. But it must be you have to be underneath so much shelter, I think. What if we do a bit bigger? That might work. Okay, so that is clearing up, but it kind of did seem like as long as you're under cover so much, it does stop it. That is one thing if it doesn't. Actually, I'll test that again. So if I'm in... So yeah, as long as it seems like... Essentially, you're not actually fully out. So if we're here, not too much... come over here, then we get slowed. So yeah, essentially as long as you're not in the direct, what would you call it, direct, or directly out in the open, I suppose it would be. Yeah, so as long as you're not directly out in the open, you're fine from the snow and the wind. So we've already had a look at that one. Tornado, once this is stopped, we'll have a look at that, and then it will be the meteor shower. The meteor shower, as is, I think is probably the coolest, but it would be a pain in some ways because it will destroy things. Oh, and yeah, so the lightning storm, so yeah, that actually will, actually might show that as well. With a tree, essentially the burned wood type thing. So this here is the burned wood. Not bad. Actually, can we turn that into planks? No, we can't. But still, that's it is still not an overly bad thing. So it doesn't actually matter what wood obviously is used. It will still turn to burnt wood. And we got a normal lightning storm. Lovely. So tornado. That is the tornado. And so that will... Is that actually going to follow me? Oh my god, it actually is. So yeah, I don't like that. I will kind of say, I don't like the fact that that does follow. Yep, there we go. So yeah, that's essentially what's going to happen now. If we actually turn back on survival. Oh god, yeah, you're going to take some damage. So yeah, you don't want to be caught out in one of those, because they will kill you pretty fast. Pretty realistic, I suppose, in that one way. And the mighty meteor shower. Pretty cool. So obviously, again, whatever this hits, obviously they will destroy and leave a crater. They are meant to leave a crater. Oh, there we go. So yeah, obviously that they take a few moments to actually register, it would seem, but yeah, it is pretty cool. And for one last thing is the tree stuff. I must say though, just my luck, just literally moments after finishing up the video, I update time, lovely. So anyway, so as we can all see, well, that's what it looks like there, but I'll properly show. So obviously this is normal tree, sort of jungle wood looking stuff, and then so it still does have a chance, and then there we go. Obviously changes instantly because again burnt wood. Or lightning sort of thing. So it doesn't do each and every single piece here. I think it might be because that's like that possibly, but anyway, pretty cool. One thing I actually reckon would be pretty cool would be, because I actually had this happen at high school, was we had two trees that were like really close together, and essentially the lightning went straight down one of them and then through the ground and straight up through the other. So I wouldn't mind some of that being added to something, so it's like if there's a few trees together or close enough that the lightning can sort of, if say burn the top half sort of thing, or something like that, so it will burn multiples. Although I actually might do that one more test. Put a few around each other. Yeah, so it doesn't actually go through the other trees. And it does seem to be chance based. Because again, that other tree here is actually taller, but it didn't get struck. Interesting. The other trees actually don't seem to be... did that happen? So yeah, that oddly enough, yes, medium tree, then small tree, and that, but the largest tree hasn't been hit. Again, cool thing with some of this, if you got like a treehouse sort of build, this will well, it'll sort of make you want to rethink it in some ways depending where you're at. But yeah, this is pretty cool little add-on. So yeah, this is about, don't know if I said at the start, but anyway, so about 1,300 or 1,300. We got one just got done, or about $12 to $15. Now, is it worth it? A yes and no. If no, in one way, because yes, there isn't a lot actually added. It's only like picture. I've got the stuff. So it only adds a tornado, meteor shower, earthquake, blizzard, thunderstorm, sandstorm, and acid rain. So it's like 7. So yeah, not too much in one way. It's not a lot for what it costs. But on the other hand, it is worth it on the other hand, because if you're trying to do a survival run sort of thing, or hardcore, especially when that gets added, amazing that will be, this kind of will work wonderful as well. I personally think as well, frequency, I don't know, I think probably maybe put it at, maybe just leave it at 1 or 2. I think would be good, because I think if it's at like 5, it's going constantly. But as well, it does work for what I've seen so far. It does work well. Nothing too bad, and yes, obviously it's all, the meteors can really mess up your world, but that's we got more coming down, or just starting up. But anyway, this is with the meteors for the exact example. Okay, that's, I don't know what's happening there now. I was going to say nothing messes up, but it could just been where I have render range for that. But yeah, like with the meteors, you can turn that off. So obviously it's very customizable. It's not a thing where it's like either turn everything on or everything off. So as we can see here, the meteor can destroy your places. So possibly turning off the thing that stops creepers from destroying things may stop that. But then once again, if you don't want your stuff destroyed, don't turn the meteor one on. So yeah, and the tornado, I think that's probably one of the the second coolest. Meteors are pretty cool, but tornado is pretty cool because it does kind of come towards you, which I do and don't like. I will say on that, but overall, for what I've seen, pretty good. It will realistically, sort of does make that realism for the game, because obviously, like the trees, you can go to a forest, and all of them could have been struck by lightning, which I will admit, it was always sort of annoying for me in normal Minecraft, because it's like, why did they not ever burn when struck by lightning? Obviously, they got burnt down, but they weren't actually just burnt wood. Obviously, again, if they ever add that in a normal Minecraft, I don't think they ever would. But as is overall, is it worth it? Yes, if you're going for a sort of survival sort of thing, or just want to muck around with something like this. If you don't really want a survival sort of scenario, then I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's good for the survival stuff, because again, it adds those more challenges. If you obviously just want to play normal stuff, then no, it's not going to be worth it, because it's kind of become more of a nuisance in normal play. But other than that, I hope one has enjoyed, and bit of a disaster in the world, but as is, Insane Disasters, pretty good. As is, not too bad, not too good on that one hand, so sort of 50-50 and that. So yeah, as is, depending what you're trying to go for will obviously determine this, but as is, personally, I do think it's pretty good in terms for the survival stuff, so I like my survival stuff. Anyway, on that, I hope everyone has enjoyed, and I shall see everybody next time.